I filmed for rock stars and Prince and U2 and all that, and did features in Hollywood.
We are creating our future and our reality, you know, every minute of the day.
The thing that came to mind was, it was around the filming of my film, and there were these huge storms happening in Sydney a few years ago, and the Premier had said, everyone, go home, shelter inside, and I'm like, no, I have to go to the beach. And I went through the storm to Maroubra, and I wrapped up the camera in all this, you know, plastic and these coverings, and I was completely soaking wet, and I was like shivering, and there was like sand whipping in my face, and I was just kind of, I wanted the content to be really kind of turbulent and stormy and scary, but for the frames to be really, like the observer to be really still. And amazingly, there was this one jogger on this completely deserted beach with this windstorm. He was like jogging into like sand, and I got this beautiful shot of him. For me, it's just those moments when you capture reality you capture reality, but you meet it with creativity and art, and there's a beautiful kind of synergy. So it's those moments that I really love, when we just nature, the world and me together, we nail it, we capture something, and that's just like, yes. Because I was making my first film, I was 17, and I was doing it for school, for my HSC, and it was black and white. It had to be black and white for some reason. I didn't even think about colour. And so I just started filming things with my dad's Super 8 camera, and it just came back really muddy. Like when you have colours in a frame like blue and green and red, they actually just turn out kind of grey when it turns to black and white. So I needed to see light and shade. So Mum cut a little piece of red cellophane and put it in a little slide frame and said, go around and look at the world through that. And so I did, and because all the other colours were taken out, it was just red but then light and dark, I got to see, oh, that's light and that's dark. So that when I came to filming, it was all about light and dark and shadow and shape. And my cinematography just went through the roof. It's just a lovely way for us to connect, because she was, always off doing her movies, and I was just in my dream world. And there she was teaching me. It wasn't, like how to have relationships or, how to cook. She hated cooking and cleaning, but it was how to see in black and white. And that was, it was a beautiful moment.
But when we talk about how our parents hurt us, it's much more difficult, because, it's antisocial for a start. We don't want people to judge us or our parents, but of course, we all have fears.
But yeah, the imagination is absolutely critical, and particularly in the type of psychotherapy I practice now, which is mindfulness somatic psychotherapy based on the Hakomi method. And just as an example, one of the things we do is to very safely and in mindfulness help the client go back to maybe just one little traumatic past event, very carefully, but not regressing into that. And so the client becomes very alive to the child part in them now, because we've all got our child parts, they're still alive and well, and we've got our adult parts. So in this process, we go back into the past and we access that child in that traumatic situation. But instead of it being how it was, which was horrific, like maybe you witnessed violence, or, you were abandoned, or someone was shaming to you, could be anything. What we do with imagination is we get the child part in us to articulate what they need. What did they need at that moment that they didn't get? And what we do with the adult part in that present moment is we help that child have that new experience through imagination. And it's an incredibly deep and effective way of re-imprinting what was a traumatic event in a really positive and healing way. And that helps to change our core beliefs. Like we might have a core belief, maybe we did, witness violence or something and our parents didn't protect us from it. And so we might have a belief that I'll always be unsafe. But when we go back and use imagination with that young part of ourselves, we can actually change that core belief and realize that it actually belongs in the past and really look after that child part. So we might, in our imagination, protect them from that thing they weren't protected from before, or stand up for them when there was no one there to stand up for them, or be there for them, or listen to them when there was no one there to be there or to listen to them in the past. So that's it's a very specific and concrete way of using imagination. And of course there's lots of other ways. There's visualization meditations, I think people use them quite a lot now, and they can be really great at kind of, we've got this neuroplasticity in our mind, so we can actually change the way our brains function, and imagination is absolutely crucial for that